All right, welcome back to another episode of the Within Range podcast. Dom Juan, Jared Suter. The ear God is not with us today, Jared.
Always in spirit.
Always in spirit, though.
Always.
So the guest we have on today is no stranger to the pod. I actually looked it up before he came, and we interviewed him episode 21.
It's a good number.
This is now episode 72. So 50 episodes later, we're bringing him
Wow.
back. Since then, and we're going to get into it, but he's been grinding. He's been putting out projects. He's been collaborating. He's been working. We're here to discuss it all. Happy to have him. Friend of the pod, we are here with Nique today, ladies and gentlemen.
Y'all got the whole thing down too.
We'll get the hand claps. We'll add those in, dude. Get those
Real
going.
vets.
Man, Nique, so yeah, so like I just said, man, episode 21, episode 72, you've been doing a lot since then. We've been doing a lot since then, but
Right.
we've kept up with you. We've seen the progression. You've been making moves. Also, too, definitely have to shout you out. You put us in a music video. We appreciate that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
We pulled
We
up to this.
appreciated coming to the event in general,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But then we saw the video and we're like, yes, excellent. It
That's
came
some
out
shit.
great, dude.
Thank you. Shout out, Doug.
Shout out Dub, dude, because
Yeah.
there's like the whole room was awesome. The vibes in there were great, so I'm not surprised it came out as well as it did. But there's one shot there where they get the mercy plaque
Yeah.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
in
was
the, it's
hard.
like right in the
Yeah.
middle too, and I kind of had forgotten that was in there
Yeah.
too, and I was just like, my God, it's really doing it, dude.
It's dope, bro.
Hey, that's how it be. I don't know what's gonna make the video. I just hit Dub, be like, hey, do your thing.
In Dub, we
captures
trust.
Whatever. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's got to be important though, right? Like your music's incredible. You obviously put a lot of effort into that, and I feel like you kind of outsourcing that to that extent and just
Yeah.
trusting a guy like that lets you focus on that, and you know that the visual is going to come out cool, and you can create a vibe in that room. Like
sure.
you have, your fingerprints on that, and then you know it's going to get captured appropriately from there.
Yeah, for sure. It gives like a it comes with this cons as well, because I have people that reach out and be like, hey, I got a videographer, but like once I kind of lock in with somebody, if I don't have to, go another direction, I won't. So sometimes people think I'm like being like stuck up or whatever, but I just
No, that's interesting.
I don't have time to be like, hey, we invested this time and didn't come out how I wanted
You're
it.
like, I got a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have like a different mindset with that. Then I feel like people are so desperate to find like a crew of people if they're doing
Right,
it by themselves,
right.
and so the second they find some common ground with someone, they'll latch on, and it's like, if that's not the person, don't
Don't do
don't
it right.
don't tie yourself to that boat,
Right.
But you have to be able. It sounds like you're willing to, and you don't have any hard feelings, and you don't have any regrets about it. Like you're like, all right, this isn't the one. Boom, boom, boom. So you'll go through a bunch, but then you find your guy.
Yeah, and it's funny because like the first video I ever shot was terrible, but I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to the person who shot it. So I tried to, and then I met Dub, and Dub wasn't quite Dub yet, but he was like how when we linked up, like I wasn't quite where I was yet, y'all weren't quite where y'all, but you could see it. I was like, oh yeah, he about to take off. Sure enough, he took off. So like I feel like I hit the lottery with that, and it's funny because I tried to with my Roundtable Entertainment label, my production company that does music in the cut and Powder Room. We try to shoot our own videos, but at some point you got to concede when you don't got to touch like somebody like somebody. Man, I'm gonna go back.
It's just
and
like
mess with
you have to have your lane. It's like a football.
Right,
It's like a
right.
football team. Like football is the perfect analogy for business because
Right.
it's big enough, like at the scale
Yeah.
where you have to have specialization and you have to
have
have
to.
like people that do their things, and they have to be. It's the Bill Belichick. Like you got to do your
Right.
job, and that applies to a lot.
And no disrespect to Voss either. Voss did what he could. It's just Dub is just different when
Yeah.
it comes to that. It's
mean-
either you had that or you don't.
I mean, listen, we heard the villain, so we know what Voss does, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. He gon'
Well, let's get into that, dude. Let's go there first, and then we'll venture out. But the villain. One of the first questions I have is the name. Why the villain, and what's the meaning behind that?
kind of like what I hinted at earlier. I feel like if there was an overall consensus of the type of person I am, you get a lot of people that would not necessarily, probably not like me. They probably dislike me for real, if I'm being honest, outside of like my immediate circle. But if you ask them why, they probably wouldn't tell you that. A lot of my dealings with people, regardless whether it be casual, passing by, business venture, friendship gone bad, relationship gone bad, whatever, there's everybody that I've wronged has an experience or a conversation where I've come out and said that. So I don't like, they won't even be the people to talk bad about me, like the ones who wouldn't even tell you why they don't like me. So that's where the title came from. I'll be the villain because I don't care to clear it up. So
Wow.
even though we could really get into it, like why you really don't like me, and that would make you the villain for real. I'll let you look like the hero. I'll be the villain because I don't care.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, to say you started off that project with a bang, dude, is an understatement. Because King of the Hill, I remember hearing it at the listening session, and I think Jared and I right away were like, "What the hell is that?" The chorus is crazy, but that one, personal favorite of mine on that
Yeah.
on that project. Um, just can you talk to us about the story, how that came along, or like when you started working on
Yeah.
that?
So King of the Hill was one of the last records recorded on the project. I felt like I had the body and the outro pretty much solidified in terms of track listing. I didn't feel like I had an intro that was doing the project justice.
Hmm.
So I found I found that beat, and then I just was like, I didn't even write that record. We was just in there and we was just punching in. And I was like, I gotta, like the first question you asked me, why the villain? I gotta explain it. So I feel like that record explains it. Like at the end of the day,
I'm King of the Hill.
yeah, whether you like me,
Just
dislike
Bobby.
me, if we
Yeah,
just,
it's
Damn
hard.
it, Bobby. Dude.
if we proofs in the pudding, if we stack up whatever you want, however you want to do it, it's gonna be gonna be hard pressed to
Dude.
find somebody to replace that.
Great track, man. I feel like it's a good like cruising song. I feel like it could be a good workout track. There's like a mix of like I
Yeah,
feel like vibes that it could be listened to in, if that makes
for
sense.
sure.
Agreed. I feel like it's a nice. It is the perfect intro because it's like kind of like starts you on the mid level,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then you go way up,
Yeah,
way
yeah,
up
yeah,
from
yeah.
there, and then you slow it down
Yeah,
from there
yeah.
too. Like it's a good entry
Absolutely.
point. Who's the Boomhauer of the Phoenix rap scene, dude? No, I'm just kidding.
I was another just kind of note I was gonna say just about the project in general is I'm like an R&B guy at my core, and I love the R&B undertones that you did a lot of that in Good Dad Bad Person.
Right.
You've done that again here, and I just love that. That's not to say that that's your sound,
Kinda,
but
yeah.
that those undertones are there. It's just something I really fuck with.
Look, I'm an R&B person too. I'm the type, like I tell people this all the time. God knew what he was doing, not giving me like a voice. If I could
Listen, if
sing,
you
I'd
could play
never
the
talk.
piano and sing it, it's over, dude.
I
be a
would
problem.
never talk. No, like I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna start investing in like vocal lessons just to further my craft in general. Because
Damn, that'd be dope.
yeah. So, but man, if I could sing like Wanye from Boys and Men or something like
Dude,
that,
Wanye. I almost named my son Wanye. Dude. I love that so much, dude.
It's all for one you put me on, dude.
Yeah, that's a good shit. All right, Jared. So you mentioned going up on the project. Is there a track that you
I mean,
you
dude,
want to talk about?
we early friend of the pod too, and so we'd love to see you working with him. But dude, that Burr music with you and Cat Peasy, dude,
Oh, yeah.
That was dope.
that's one of your best collaborations, dude. That whole song
Yeah.
is start to finish, crazy hard, perfect blend of styles. Shows again,
Yeah.
that's like you start on the album and then you go like
Yeah.
right up to
Yeah.
the top floor, aggressive, and it shows. It's funny, like when you're like, oh, people that meet me outside of my circle like maybe don't like me. It seems like
Yeah.
more so like they might not get you, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fair.
And it makes sense with the music, right? Because
Yeah.
for you to make all that range of music genuinely, you
Mhm.
have to have that in you, and so people
Yep.
see different sides of you. And
Yeah,
if they see you
yeah.
at a certain time,
For
they
sure.
might be like, "Oh, that guy's like real cocky," or this or that, or they're like, "Oh, he's
Right,
like way
right.
too chill," you know,
Right,
like.
right.
So yeah, it shows in the music, but yeah, Bird music incredible. Shout out Cat Peasy, dude. Like,
Shout out Cat.
just he has such. You have like a very just like almost I'm trying to think of like a sports like a Tom Brady approach. Like you go in and just surgically just murder your verse on that, and then Cat Peasy is a nice compliment because I call him like restrained chaos. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like he's about to just start going crazy and like
Yeah.
but it's right there, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
The
came out great.
funny thing about that record, he sent me the record and he said something to the effect like, can you rap on something like this? I looked at him.
Is that a serious
Yeah.
question? or-
What are you talking about, dude?
I-
Yeah.
I told him, man, I was like, well, you tried me. And he started laughing. We recorded it, and he didn't even want to put it out.
Because you talking about it, Dom pointed out, he's talking about a snow bunny for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was like, he talked about her for quite a long
Might
minute,
cause some
actually.
problems on the home front. I don't know
No,
what the
no.
situation is, but
And
I can see it.
I just
dude.
feel like sometimes
He went in on that.
He
dude.
overly critical, and it might have been like a clash. Like, damn, I didn't know you was gonna talk about that I'm over here talking about this.
So I was gonna note that
Yeah.
the topics between the two of you are night and day different, but I was like, the
Right.
song still works
Right. People
somehow.
asked if we recorded in the same. So I was like, yeah, we did. Because it sounded like someone, he did his
And he
verse
gets
and
some
he
very
did it over.
specific messages.
Yeah, but once I heard
Cap
it-
was like, dude, this snow money I got really something, dude. and it works, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's funny because it's like, if you from Phoenix for real, like he's from South Phoenix. All my people from South Phoenix, Lavine area, and I like Tempe too. I got the issue.
Let's
I
go,
like
baby.
Tempe. So that whole area. So me and him are from some of the same areas. So it's like this bird music,
Bird
Phoenix, the
music.
birds where we're
That's
from. So it's like
hard.
you get this side of it, you get
Bird
Cat
music.
Peasy, you get my side. Like that's how it is. But at the end of the day, just this is what the city sounds like. This is what it should sound like. This should be the forefront of the sound. We have a bunch of stuff that's taken off, and no disrespect to anybody that moved here, but that's not the sound.
Yeah.
And they not even from. They're not Phoenix.
That I love that. I
Yeah.
love comparing that. Like that, your sound is
Yeah.
very representative of Phoenix. It's like we've got, the harder side of things, and then there's also
Right.
like resorts in Scottsdale, like
Right,
and nice
right,
stuff. Like
right.
that is the city. There's
Right,
there's
right,
two sides to it,
right.
or a few sides, but
Talking about Phoenix. When you come to Phoenix, this is what it sounds like. Not the person who moved here from
Chicago,
Chicago,
Minnesota.
Detroit. Shout out Chicago, shout out Detroit. I got a lot of
Yeah.
good connections with those folks. But if I were to go there, their culture in their cities is established. They're
Yeah.
gonna be like, that's not what we do in Detroit. That's not what we sound
Mhm.
like in Chicago. They be like, you hard. I fuck with it, but
don't
And-
start repping
and
our
no,
city.
in
Yeah.
Detroit, you're not gonna be the catalyst for this. You're not gonna be the face because, like 4-2 Doug, who else I like? Babyface,
T
like
Grizz.
T Grizz. This is Detroit.
Babytron,
This is what
dude.
we sound like in Detroit, Chicago. Dirk, Keith, whatever,
Yeah.
whoever you like. This is Chicago. I
Yeah.
can't go there and act like because I'm not. And I think a lot of that we let a lot of that
I
slide.
was gonna say, you think a lot of people feel like they can come out here and do
Yeah,
that?
because it's because of the platforms they let them do it. And I'm not saying I don't want to sound like I'm hating because some of them are decent. So that but the platforms out here they be so Phoenix, Phoenix, Phoenix. How come Phoenix don't do this? How come Phoenix ain't this? It's because of you.
Yeah. If I could ask, speaking of
Go ahead.
platforms, so you mentioned him on that track. I think you mentioned him again on another track, but
Yeah.
Crickets, yeah.
you call out a specific platform.
Who?
I think I might have heard a Matty Ice drop.
If I said it, I meant it. No, I don't got no problems with him. I've never met him. So let me start there. I can only go off of what he's portraying his platform to do. From my perspective, he's portraying a Phoenix platform
Okay.
to help give exposure to Phoenix artists, to help put the Phoenix music scene on the map.
Okay.
I do not think what he's portraying is what he's executing.
Okay.
That's where it starts and ends. So I don't know him from a can of paint in terms of is he a good person, is he a good husband, is he a good dad? I don't know.
You guys haven't done any like interviews or any collabs or just
No,
been
I don't pay to play.
Okay. Okay.
So
Alright.
if you interested in the music scene out here and this is an artist you interested in, be interested in it genuinely. You see it as an untapped territory, and there's people that's thirsty. I don't want to use thirsty. That's like a cop.
Right, but you're the beachhead there, and you know that there's the market is hungry
the
for
market,
that,
right,
and that you can
and you
charge
can capitalize
something
and you
for
can
that, I
charge.
get
Yeah,
that.
I don't, because that's why Phoenix is terrible. Because you got so much. The Phoenix music scene is terrible. You got so much pay to play. You could have Lil Do Dirt, who's trash. You can have Mini Carlos from South Phoenix, who's trash.
And the
Lil Do
caption's
Dirt
like,
from
with
Phoenix,
tattoos
who's
up to his
trash.
getting
forehead.
real
Yeah.
motion in Phoenix right now.
Yeah,
Like
it's
da-da-da.
trash. But he could pay. He could pay to play, and he gonna go up to this platform. He gonna freestyle. He gonna play a record, and it's trash. But you gonna be like, oh boy, you feel Phoenix got one with this one.
I think
Yeah.
you bring up a really interesting point, because I hadn't kind of considered that side of things, where to me it's like, okay, it's cool that there's platforms, and if you want to get your stuff out there, like there's a way to do that.
Right.
But if there's not some selectivity to that, it becomes ineffective, right? Because it's like if you see a page that is just pay to play,
Yeah.
you're not going like, oh, I've liked the last 5 things they've posted
Right.
because they seem to have good taste. Like maybe I'll like this one.
Right.
You just are like, oh, someone else
Right.
paid to do that. And then you have that side where it's just like, oh, anyone that pays, you're good, you're gonna get promoted. And then you have the other side that seems to just like pretty much hate on
Yeah,
anyone trying to do it.
I can speak from it because when we were doing music in the cut, we tried to teeter to that and it didn't work. That's why it's like on a halt right now.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking from experience. I've done it and I didn't like it. Big cities that got their culture, they didn't start doing that. That's not how they started. Now that it's reputable,
They were hard on people,
Yeah.
but they were fair.
right, like-
and it
like-
was like, oh, this, and maybe it's an imperfect science. You never know what's going to
Right,
resonate with people all the time.
right.
But like, if there's not the selectivity, then people will just ignore. It's just noise. It's
Right,
just like, oh,
right.
another one of those. And it's
Like-
not like so and so made it and performed at X, Y, or Z.
Also, another track I wanted to talk on real quick is Undeserving.
Yeah.
The video for that looked fun as hell. Shot by Dub. Tell me how that.
Looked quite fun.
Yeah, how did that come along?
So I had hit up. No.
See what had happened was.
It was a fun video. It was cool for the moment, but
Looked like you walked out that sliding glass door at one point and you were enjoying yourself. You know?
Yeah, you were smiling often.
Listen, you work hard. You have to recreate. You were recreating.
yeah, it's
And the
just-
track was dope too.
Thank you. I love the record. The moment for what it was, and the people that were involved for what it was necessary for serving that record at that time. It's certain people involved with it that I'm not really too keen on, so
Okay.
I just be like, it was,
All right, fair enough.
yeah,
Well, I will say this too is like again to Jared's point, King of the Hill, Bird Music, Undeserving, 3 completely different sounding tracks.
right,
Which again goes back to your diversity.
right,
So,
right.
And you throw in, what is it, Red Queen's Win?
Red-
That what I was
Queen's
about to do.
Race,
So
Red
that
Queen's
was what I was going to talk
Race.
about next.
Yeah.
That had like a drizzy bop to it.
Big Drizzy time.
We were talking about.
Red Queen's Race is one of my favorite records. Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
Um,
One of your favorite records that you've ever done, or just on that
ever
project?
done like and
Okay.
recorded in terms of just having fun. I forgot how that beat even.
Dude, it had like a. I said the song "Sticky" by Drake. It had that
Yeah.
doom 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 doom.
It
Kind
has
of like
what
Drake's
is it
got
like?
that line too where
It
he's
had
like,
like
he's
a-
like, guys from my hood saying, why you making techno? Like it's almost got
yeah,
that
yeah.
techno
It does
vibe
have
to
like
it.
a techno
that could-
like,
Like that
could be
house
uppity.
music.
Yes,
Like,
It
yeah,
could
yeah.
be played in Ibiza.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Ibiza.
absolutely.
and hear that come on and people be like, what is this, dude?
Yeah, and
Off of Chianti Classico?
and like whenever I'm making a record, like it's like I don't make the record. Like I hear the beat, and if it's gonna make the project, it usually just makes itself and writes itself. So when it came on, I was already mumbling words. I'm like, damn, I can make something of this. And then it just started growing and growing, and then it just came out to Red Queen's Race, and it's like to be able to still have the integrity of the content that I make in music over that same beat, how just like it was just married together so effortlessly. I was
Tough
like,
to
bro,
flow as well.
I love this record.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, you're talented, bro. You're super talented. You do have a unique sound. Every time you put out, whether it's a single or a project, I just feel like you continue to show your portfolio, and I feel
Yeah.
like you continue to show why you're one of the prominent artists that we talk to a lot of these guys at this point, and
Yeah,
You're
I'm
up there.
talking a lot of them too.
Man, Crickets too, dude. Crickets goes right back to the kind of go towards the end of the album, towards
Yeah,
the end
yeah,
of the
yeah,
project,
yeah.
just going out on
Last little adrenaline
getting there
rush.
to a bang. Yeah,
Yeah.
how'd that one come about?
I talk to a lot of these artists too. They be crickets.
That's it. They be crickets.
Oh, that's hard.
That is the
Yeah,
message
but-
then. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't got no problems with nobody. It's just
Listen, it's okay to talk your shit.
People
I was
like
gonna
it.
say you
gotta be able
got
to
some
do
strong
that.
opinions, dude. Let them
I
out.
do.
What?
I just-
There was another bar on another track where you said I can't even do a verse with that guy. The beef still sizzling.
The
The beef
beef's
still grilling.
oh,
I was curious to like. I want to know who he's talking about.
I ain't talking about nobody.
Okay.
I'm not talking about nobody.
But would you say? I mean, I would think you would agree to this that your rhymes are authentic. What your bars are. I mean, you might be facetious in some of the things you say and exaggerate, but for the most part, in what you're saying, you're telling the truth, or you're like expressing how you're really feeling.
I say it's art.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I feel like sometimes though there's definitely some truth there. So I feel like it's like,
Gotta
is
be.
there a specific person or was it a collection of feelings that you're talking about? Maybe it's not aimed at one person, but I've noticed a few things, and this was the sentiment that I came away with. Maybe not one
With
person.
that specific line,
Just with a lot of your stuff too. Like sometimes when we talked about one where you were specific, like there
Yep.
was a very specific one, but then some of the things like that where we're like, ooh, is there someone he's
Yeah,
talking
we
about?
catch things like that. And we're like, ooh.
We're like, okay,
that
is there
bar.
someone? But then it's like, No, okay,
It could
maybe
be
that's a
general.
collection
Just
of experiences. Like
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
sentiment. Like we have specific things we could point to, but we have
right,
certain things where it's like we've seen shots or we've seen this or
right,
that, we've
right,
heard certain feedback, and it's
Yep.
just like, okay,
right.
and so we've heard it a few times. So if we ever mentioned that in something, it wouldn't be necessarily aimed at one person, but it was a collection of experiences that led us to feel that way.
Yeah, and that's fair. Cause
Yeah.
once
Okay.
I put it out there, I want it to be however it's interpreted. It's interpreted. There's certain things where like I won't go into detail, even though I know you
Yeah,
brought
that's
me on here to
fine.
do a
It's
job.
okay.
It's okay.
So, but like other than that, like there's bars or there's things for people that know about it, and then there's like however it's interpreted after that, it's interpreted. So
Okay.
yeah, but that don't even got really nothing to do with out here. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right, let's switch it up completely.
okay,
You mentioned the powder room earlier.
all right,
So but before we get into that, let's just commend you, right? So Roundtable ENT, that's something we had talked about back on the first
yeah.
episode. You told us that what's on pause right now? You just said
Oh, music in the cut.
music
In
in
the
the
cut.
cuts on pause. Can you
Yeah,
talk about that before
yeah,
we
yeah,
go
yeah.
into what
All of it is honestly
okay.
combination of different things. With the powder room, Bree moved to Texas.
Okay.
Shout out to Bree, great host, great friend, great person, inside and out. But there was a time with trying to build up the production company. It was we were spread thin between me, Adam and me and Adam. So
Okay.
the team wasn't
All
real.
six of
Alright.
you.
Yeah, and then I don't want to do that because Dylan ended up coming out here. Dillmatic, he ended up moving out here.
Well,
So
Vavricks hosted the show for a minute.
he hosted the show
Okay.
at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, so
Dillmatic got a shout out on the project
Fernie
too.
did.
Fernie ended up hosting. So you could
Oh yeah,
we
I
were
met
trying
Fernie.
to we were
Yeah.
trying to fill in some of the voids because when we moved Bree from Music in the Cut to Powder Room, we just wanted someone who was a little more music savvy
Okay.
for Music in the Cut. Bree overall is a great host, period, for anything. So we all came up with a great idea for the Powder Room. She had a great pitch about it, and we're like, oh, yeah, that's fire. But it was taken away from the music, and the bottom line is my
Yeah.
music. The reason I created those platforms, anyways, was because I didn't like the platforms that were out here for the music. So
Except for ours, but
yeah,
No, just
for sure,
just kidding.
1,000,000%, 1,000%. I give y'all your flowers. I'm gonna do that some more before the show ends. But I wanted to create two platforms: one music, one non-music, for artists to be able to go on their media runs for their rollouts of their projects, post-release after their projects, and come on and get some exposure that were genuine. You know what I mean? So music in the cut, being able to, like you said, or one of you said, you don't got to freestyle. Not everybody's a
No.
freestyle artist. If you got a single you want to promote, like the way my stuff is put together now, if I go on anybody's show, whatever, and they tell me to freestyle, I'm gonna look at them crazy. Especially if I have a project out, I'll do a single that I'm trying to promote. I don't freestyle. No, my style ain't free, so I'm not doing
I'm
that.
trying to remember that one rapper that's hilarious, but he has a similar thing. He's like, you get on a show and he's like, I'm trying to eat off these,
Yeah, I
nine
think Vince
songs.
Staples
Vince
was saying
Staples,
that.
that's what it
Yeah,
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
he's like,
right.
and you're asking me to freestyle? He's like, no,
yeah,
dude, no.
I'm not doing that. But so music in the cut, you could freestyle, perform a record,
Yeah.
whatever, and then get an interview, and it was just real genuine. Music in the cut, I wanted it to be like music. Powder Room's not a podcast; it was a show. That's why I try to have the live audience. You can come on there if we like what you're doing and you want to, however, just sit in the
Promote your
audience. Yeah,
business or
promote.
yeah.
Come on, you
It's
could be a guest.
if you were a musician too, it was cool because you could do, talk about the music there, and then they showed a completely different side of
Yeah, and
yourself.
you
Yeah,
like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy
yeah.
Kimmel, something like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What
Jay Leno.
someone's gonna run away with this, but we've already had people come and do it, like kind of how y'all was like, "What does this do?" We had people come to the powder room and do the whole thing, so it's not a show. It's a show. We
Yeah,
got
right.
audience. But anyways,
Underlined
I feel like
show.
it's a void that's missing in Phoenix, and what you guys are doing, I love because this is like if I was managing an artist, and that's about to start happening very soon in the near future.
Nice.
Um, this is a platform I would invest in and be comfortable with telling my artists this is a stop that's necessary for your rollout for your run.
We appreciate
And
that,
yeah,
dude. That means a lot.
I can't say that about
It's funny
a
because
couple others.
that was one of the things I think our goals with this. It was like, man, how cool would it be if people were like going through like, you know, the podcast tour, right? On their thing, they were like, make sure you hit it within range. So for you to say that
Right.
is actually something
Yeah,
we've
that's checking that off the
But then,
list for us,
yeah.
dude.
but then that's when you've established your value. Now I can call and we can talk numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have an
Absolutely.
artist that I'm trying to break. So I'm asking you to do a favor, but I don't want a favor. What's your price? What's your number?
Yeah.
That's different
Sure.
from
Yeah.
you just dropped your first record on SoundCloud, man. Come on up here for $1,000. I got you. That's
Yeah,
great.
that
You just
is
dropped
kinda-
it. Yeah, come on up here.
Little dude dirt.
Yeah, little
Yeah,
dude
little
dirt.
dude dirt.
dying
You just
at
dropped it on
that.
SoundCloud. Come up here. Universal might hear this. You might get signed.
Dude, I'll be honest now, anytime I hear a new
Little
artist for the
dude dirt.
first time, I'll be like, who's this little dude dirt?
I'm saying.
That's awesome, dude. I attended a powder room
Right.
episode, show, what you want to call it, and I'll just say this: again, the presence was great, the venue was good, the show started good, and then it
Oh my
teetered,
gosh.
it teetered a bit.
I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know. I know exactly what episode you're talking about. I forgot who the co-hosts were that were sitting up there with Bree.
Okay, yeah.
You remember them? I don't remember
So
all of them.
there was a female for sure. There was even a guy that was up there, but she had at least like 3-4 people
Yeah, I
up
know-
there
I
with
know
her.
there's-
Shout out to
I
that
know
guy,
the
dude.
same
He's up there
Yeah,
in
he
the
was-
trenches
yeah.
talking about tough issues too, dude.
was.
I forgot what.
It was relationship talk for sure. The subject was around relationship talk, if I could remember.
But
Where
they
it
got
started
you,
to.
you talking about the episode they got fried. That was high as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I told him too, bro.
I watched it happen.
Cause everybody grown, so I don't ever want to feel like I'm talking down to somebody. But when we trying to establish, I got on them too. Like Bree gonna probably listen and be like, Well, I love Reese. I can talk about it like that. But yeah, I told him, I said, look, I know what y'all do for your nerves because it's different. You think you want to be in front of a camera till you get in front of a camera.
Yeah.
You think you want to be in front of a camera with people.
Yeah, it's like doing that inside, and then you go outside and the sunlight hits you,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
no, that did
It's a
work.
little
Yeah.
different.
So I think everyone's anxiety, because the format, we start intermission, part 2, and we finish. And when people came back from that intermission, oh my gosh, they was looking at me like that, like zombies. I was looking at the zombies like, y'all got y'all. We
The
still on board for
intermission.
the.
Yeah.
We still on board for the
Mid-show.
second day.
Pre-show one thing, mid-show that'll
Yeah.
get you.
And they're like, yeah, and they get an intermission. Damn, what was the question?
Yeah, that's what
What was I
happened.
talking about? I'm like,
And watching it from the audience perspective, it was you just wish you could help somehow, some way, like what you're watching, because you're watching
Yeah.
it real time, and you're
Yeah.
just like, I guess I just have to watch this.
well, no,
happen.
I know, and we got a lot of feedback from the audience.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and it wasn't good.
Oh, okay.
But that's like, you can't climb a mountain with smooth sides.
Yes.
So you need those.
We've had our trials and tribulations on this show.
My main thought though is like that thinking of like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna start these multiple lanes, and I'm gonna
Right.
get them all going. Like I think we've seen a few different people do that, and it doesn't like pan out, and
Right.
everything suffers because of it. I think
Absolutely.
it takes a lot of courage and like awareness to be like, we're pulling back from this, and it's all going into the music, and
Yeah.
it shows in the project. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
it sounds like you put everything
it's
into
like
that.
you have your kids that getting older. You raise them all the same, but you got this one kid who keep getting locked up. You keep
Yeah.
spending bail money on him, and
Uncle
he keep
Mike.
getting
dude.
locked up. But this kid, he busting his ass. But the resource I could be putting in him to get the family up out of here,
You're wasting it
yeah,
on.
wasting on him. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? Next time you do this, I'm gonna get it with you. Let me focus here,
Yeah.
and once this is established, I'll come back and I'll come get all y'all.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's a tough thing. I mean, that's a tough. It's like you're in a creative thing, but then there's a business. Like those are at
Yeah.
odds, and then you have your people, and unfortunately, because it's not like a set target that
Right.
you're shooting at to make it in
right,
music.
right.
You don't know who can come along with you and still
Right.
have the most efficient machine possible.
Right.
And so you can't make those guarantees to people until it's like you said, like you come back around, and that takes trust.
Right.
But you also don't owe everyone everything.
You don't. And at the end of the day, like I can't just the position God has afforded me to be in, I can't just think about myself. Adam, he's such a nice guy. almost to a fault, he won't speak up. So he was mixing the audio and doing the cuts for music in the cut and the powder room. He's got this person telling, yo, when is this gonna drop? He's got this person asking him, when's this gonna drop?
Sounds like what we put your God through,
Right.
probably.
And then he's got the music we still got to finish. So I was like, okay, hold on.
And then all the spinning plates come crashing down.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is what is not gonna happen. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people understood it. But at the end of the day, I don't got time to go to bed wondering what if once shit already hit the fan. Once I see it about to float, I'm cutting it. Because once it hits the fan, that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Once I see it starting to
Yeah.
float.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Dude.
When I got time, it's like the deer when it's crossing the road. You need it when it stops and it's looking at the car. Just keep walking. Nah, like once I see that car head on, I can't.
You said you had questions for us.
Oh yeah, y'all.
Ready, dude.
Feel free to ask away.
So from the last time we had our interview, you guys have ascended at an incredible rate. Well deserved too, by the way.
Appreciate that, man.
Kind of the same question you asked about like what goes into who I choose to work with.
Yeah.
What goes into when you guys are like, because you say you gotta have a story. How do you vet like, okay, yeah, this is good enough?
I could take that one.
Yeah,
head on.
I got to take on it too. Go for it.
So we're 3 seasons into this, right? I would say halfway through our season, right? So yeah, about mid-season 2 is when I think we as a business or as a platform felt like we can now be choosy, right? At first, we had to get people in. We had to build relationships. We were new to this scene.
We're just excited anyone would work with us.
Yeah, the fact that we would reach out to people like you and Voss and Vavrix, and we're like, okay, we're starting to build something. Then it was to the point where it's like, well, let's just see who we can get. Let's take our shot. We end up getting the Futuristics. We end up getting the Merkhams. Once we started to, I guess, I don't know how to say it, but once we started to teeter in, I guess, the the falutin rap scene of Phoenix is when I felt like we were like, okay, we're now starting to build relationships with those people who we've interviewed initially. We're now escalating. And now, not only do we feel like we have to cram X amount of interviews in an X amount of time, we can now be choosy to a point and continue to build, but go back to artists that we've worked with before. You inviting us to stuff like that, wants us to work with you more. And then now we do have our sights set on certain people that we just personally like are interested in talking to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the best way I could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, similar. I feel like for me, it was, wow, people will even
People want to come on here. That's how it was at first.
And then we're like, okay, let's explore all these connections. And I think you have to have a bit of that mindset. Like, you have to be exploratory. And I think, and there's no disrespect to anyone that came on. Like, we truly, like, if you came on here, we like what you're doing.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
There's also, then that comes the business side of things where it's a show and there has to be like an entertaining conversation too. Like, sure, if you're on the platform and it was about music, like, we respect your music.
Right.
You also have to be like entertaining, and there also has to be something to talk about there, whether it's a story or you're engaging. And I do think there was a point where we were doing them very frequently.
Yep. Pumping them out.
And we were kind of still in the mindset of like, wow, people will work with us. And plenty of people were happy to come on and work with us.
Right.
And I think that's where the authenticities come in. And I think we're in just such a nice groove right now where it is lower frequency, but everyone that comes on, and it's not just like, oh, we fuck with them, we don't, but we're like insanely like bought in to whatever you're doing. And it's becoming either you're more known in the scene or we have an existing relationship with you. And after almost 3 years of doing this now, like that relationship's maintained and you should be here. And I think that's the net that we're kind of dragging now. And it's just like, it's a very similar thing to you. We tried a bunch of different things and talked to a bunch of different people. And now we're like, okay, these are the people that are working hard, reciprocate, because we're no charge. Right? They reciprocate energy and just sharing, and it's mutually beneficial. Like, and I think that's been the journey. And so it's about knowing your value.
There's someone who said they don't want to work with y'all?
So there's no one directly who has said that, but I'll just say this. We've been in situations where we thought things were a for sure thing, and at the last minute, they just somehow didn't go through.
Okay.
And we don't know the true backstories, but
Go ahead.
our approach now is like, you missed us then, you might not ever get it again.
And are these hosts of other platforms?
No,
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
no.
So it's
no.
not like
Artists,
internal.
artists,
Okay.
One
artists.
in particular sticks out.
And they've spun back and tried to.
They have not. No. I don't
we had
think they've
No, we had
spun.
one.
Oh yes,
We definitely had one.
We had one spin back. We've had others that don't, and it is what it is, man. We
Damn.
tried. We tried.
So okay.
Go ahead.
So like you know how artists rap game everybody needs to be so sensitive.
yeah. I've noticed that. I've noticed that.
So like you have somebody pull up on your session that you know they listen, they be like you can see it in their face when they're like, oh, this shit harder than mine.
So we've seen that.
Yeah, okay.
We've also seen people who
Just don't have their shit together.
weren't ready or prepared. And we had one guest, and I would never say his name, but there was a point
I
that
know
we
what you're talking about.
basically, for the first time ever, was like, we're cutting this short.
Really, y'all cut an episode short?
In a nice way. We were polite about it, but Jared and I gave a look, and I was like, we're cutting this shorter than we've ever cut it before.
We went
because there
deep
was
on
nothing
some questions
well,
and had done some research, and he was just like, yeah, that was really cool.
Well, basically, is like he talked about the entertainment factor. When we sit here and do research about you, and we know your story, and we come with questions, and you can't give us anything back, it's hard for us to sit here and continue on
For
to
sure.
talk about you.
For sure. So like you ask him questions and
Little motion. I'll just say
It is like Dom will have a question and be like, I heard that's actually your second cousin twice removed from marriage, and they learned how to do that beat on a Toys R Us
Right.
keyboard, and then you laid down the most fire beat of all time. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, that was
And instead
dope,
of them
dude.
being like, holy shit, like, how'd you know that? Or
Right.
like, yeah, man, you know what? That's crazy. You know that. And then like talking about it, they'll be like, yeah, man,
It just
that
came
was
together.
It came together. It was
Yeah.
a dope song. And you're just like,
That's it.
what the fuck?
I'm like, damn, I thought it would be.
You
like,
gave us
and
3
not to-
seconds on
well,
that.
not
and
to
it
say
happened.
like they have to be as excited as we are, but again, like we just are to a point now where we're flow with this.
they
that
reached out. to come on?
Yes, they definitely did reach out to come on.
Yeah, so it'd be a combination of things. It'd be one, artists, you always gotta account people. Like when the lights come on, they try to be too cool. They get in this lights go, hey, bro.
we did have.
Oh,
that.
we did have one.
Okay,
early
we'll
on,
never
dude.
say
Oh,
his
yeah,
name,
never.
But the
And then
second
the other one, dude. There's one the only one that hurt me. Go for
the
it.
second thing you gotta account for is people get nervous for real.
We've had that.
Dude, we had a
Yeah,
bad. We had a bad.
We've
one.
also had the halftime at Powder Room situation too, where it's just like someone came in and it was like, oh, you guys,
Self-medicate,
they
yeah.
see me and they think they're coming to like a Mormon like prayer reading, and then they're like, oh, you guys, and we're like, well, yeah,
we know our shit.
and then
dude.
they're and then they get a little excited. There was one though, dude. We won't say the name either, but he would be a legend in the Phoenix hip hop scene, and
You
and
said
it
he
was,
would be or he?
He is like you if you like know the whole Phoenix scene, and like especially in his back in the day.
Legend. I know
Um,
who y'all talking about.
It was around his birthday too, and we even got like a birthday card. We were like excited. To
We've
meet
never
the
said
guy,
this on the
dude.
show
We never
before.
said
Either,
this,
by
but
the way.
and dude, we were set up. The studio was ready to go, dude, and just didn't, and then called us like 30 to an hour
30
into
minutes
it,
before
eating at his
showtime.
counter, just chomping food at
What-
his counter, dude. And was just like, dude, sorry, I had a really busy day, and we're just like, all right.
Arizona legend or Phoenix legend?
Both.
I'm saying no. You know I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, I know.
both.
Your area,
Both.
your area, dude. Your area, Phoenix. We
Legend,
tried.
We throw that word around so loosely.
We tried.
Yeah.
Arizona legend, the Phoenix legend.
Those are good questions, though, man. I like being on the other end of this now. We've never had this.
It's fun, dude. Yeah.
So my first episode, that was season 1 or season?
It was season 1.
That was season 1?
21? That was season 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I didn't
Because
think we had video then.
Nique was one of the first ones that we interviewed on video.
Oh, it
Because
was
remember, we
video,
interviewed
okay.
Voss and Vavrix on.
That's right.
And
That's
then,
right,
and then
audio.
you were like,
did
ever,
get it, that's
you were our
right.
second episode, I think, on video ever.
So
Yeah.
Well, clearly, I was about to ask y'all have interviews y'all regret. Have y'all have any interviews y'all have taken down?
No, but
That's
we
in the
do
works?
have one that is in the vault, and we are not sure if it will ever come out.
No, it'll probably stay there.
Have y'all gotten like any backlash from artists that have reached out and be like, hey man, like we done hit you off for like 10 weeks. We ain't heard nothing back.
No. We
That's
haven't had
good.
that. You know, I feel like we do. I feel like I take on this role a lot, but I'm good. I'm big on communication. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I do in my day job. So, and that's what I sometimes might annoy these guys because I'm just always checking in on things. I'm the one that's reaching out to the artist mainly because at the end of the day, I mean, just like in life in general,
Yeah.
it's about relationships. And I
Facts.
think, obviously, this is an example of that. It's like there's certain relationships that I care to maintain and I'll go as far as I need to, but it's also a business thing. I want to run a good business, and I feel like
Absolutely.
you have to have good communication.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Put it. Let's go.
Who y'all? I got a series of questions that's on the same type of thing.
Sure.
Y'all been in it for 3 years. Y'all say y'all done interviewed the who's in the city.
I would say
whatever.
so.
Give me your top 5 artists
Yeah.
currently doing it, and that's encompassing everything: skill,
Okay.
consistency.
Yeah, just our personal 5.
Just-
Personal 5?
I'm not gonna
Give
rank.
me the best.
I'm not gonna rank, but I
This
will
isn't
give
your
you
favorite
5.
yet. This isn't your favorite.
Okay.
The best, objectively. Who you think y'all 5
Best artist wise?
I can't do that.
Well, I guess I need to know more about the question. Are you saying the best artist that we've interviewed, in our opinion?
The best 5. Who?
Skill wise?
I'm a major. I'm coming to y'all right now.
Yeah.
Who are the best 5 artists we need to look at?
In Phoenix. Okay. I got this one, no problem. You're on that list. I would put this artist, I've Been Pretty, on that list. I think Merc, I think given what he's done for the city and what he continues to do, I think he has to be on that list. Someone that you've worked with and that we were big fans of, I just think we just need to see more consistency. I would put Cat Peasy on that list.
Consistency for sure.
And then Jared, I know would agree with me on this one. Deli Every Day, I think would also be on that list.
I met him on Music in the Cut.
You guys would be
He's a good dude.
great on a track, dude.
He's a
So
good dude.
he does our theme.
does
now.
our
Yeah,
intro.
yeah, I seen it. He's a good.
Yeah,
That's
so
my
from-
5.
I would do
From what I met,
yeah,
he's a good
not
dude.
ranking. I would do you 100%. I mean, just
Yeah, I gotta
just
say
listen
That's
to the
genuine.
Yeah, I
project.
gotta say it because
No,
I'm
dude.
serious. No, I'm
Listen,
serious, dude.
your
Dom and I
bag is
say it all the
different.
time. Dude.
Your bag
dude,
is different.
To me it is the refinement of the sound.
Yeah.
It is a top-notch finished product at any level. Like not just
I
not
agree
just
with that.
someone at this point in their career.
right.
Like that is a record label quality, start to finish. It sounds incredible. It
Yeah.
flows. You
Shout out
sound great.
Voss.
You're talking
Yeah.
about no,
Yeah.
but it's you too.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And yes, Voss.
Yeah.
Shout out. Like it that you need that to take it that
Right.
extra.
1000%.
But yeah. So I would say you, Deli, Merc, Pretty. You know who I got to show love. We haven't heard from in a minute, dude.
Go ahead.
But listen, when he's cooking, shout out Henny Lago, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Lago. Henny Lago sleeping. But
Man.
some people played.
Henny's super talented, man.
Henny, incredible.
Who's the? I'm not trying to
Go
be
ahead.
facetious. The pretty.
So
Pretty, yeah.
his rap name, he goes by I've Been Pretty. But if you go on our YouTube page, we just did kind of like a promo for his album that just
Mhm.
came out. But dude, like I feel like you guys have similarities in a lot of ways because you have a unique sound,
Mm-hmm.
you have a unique style, and I think you guys both represent Phoenix.
Is he from
and-
Phoenix?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's a
very
local.
grimy
Yes.
sound to it.
He's got like a rock /
cinematic
rap,
like melodic bars,
and
yeah,
he
it's
looks like
very-
a star. He just looks.
I was about to ask what's who would you?
He's Hispanic. He's got tats, but he's like a pretty. He goes by pretty because he's like a.
He's a pretty
he's a
boy?
good looking dude.
Oh,
like a
okay.
South, yeah, like El Guapo, yeah.
El
that's what I
Guapo
mean,
is his
advanced.
his
That's his
album
name
name.
too. Or is
Yeah,
it just somebody?
that's
That
his
was his
album,
album
yeah.
name.
Oh, El
But he
Guapo,
goes by
okay.
I've Been Pretty.
He's a rapper. He's a singer.
He's a
like
rapper.
a rock star.
Rap.
Yeah,
I would say imagine. Do you know Babytron? You're like a south of the border Babytron.
Okay.
A little
Yeah,
bit, a little bit. Phoenix
that's
Babytron.
kinda good. That's
not
good.
a Detroit
Yeah.
Babytron.
He's
Phoenix
nice though,
Okay.
bro. He's nice.
But that would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
an oversimplification but yeah, he just got this.
and
nice
it's funny
sound.
because similarities again. You two are two artists that have come back on our show. Not everybody. It's a very short list
Yeah,
that
yeah.
have come back. So that says a lot.
Okay. Now who? No. Is y'all list synonymous with your favorites?
Yeah, I
Mine
would say
would
yeah.
be-
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's my favorites. I mean, again, that's the thing about music to me is like, okay, like with the Drake Kendrick beef. If you want to if you're someone that just goes off numbers, end the competition before it even starts.
Yeah.
Drake's done. But then people, what really won out? People just vibed with Kendrick's more, and they felt that more, and they liked what he was saying. Like, It was ultimately a field day. Oh, you look like you disagree.
No. I don't give a fuck about that beef. I don't. I'm just
No, but
listening
I'm
to
just
you.
saying, like, so to me, it's like there's a difference between like you can make things into metrics all you want and be like, oh,
Right.
this person's the best. Hard to say that anyone is getting more attention and been on some bigger platforms than like Merkham's right now.
Right.
I love Merkham's.
Right.
And is that eh, but again, that's a subjective thing. Like, okay,
Right.
best, that's at that level there, I guess is what I'm saying. But favorites,
Another thing too is, and I'm happy saying this on the show is when we post on our stories like music, it's literally I'm driving to work, I'm driving to play basketball, I'm driving somewhere, and this
Right.
music is coming up on my
Right.
shuffle.
Right.
And so, not to say that there's artists that we don't like that we don't post, but like
That's in your
if we
personal
really
playlist.
fuck with you
Yeah.
and you get a story like that from us, that can't be any more genuine. I'll just say that.
is high praise.
Oh, what are your 5 singles? What are your top 5 singles that come out of the city?
Singles. Curve It.
You-
Curve It is
I don't
Cat
think
Peasy
I
and
do
Deli.
singles off the top of my head, dude.
Um,
Hood Dreamer.
Flooded Out. I'd put Flooded Out
Flooded
on
You
there.
Out.
like
Flooded
Flooded Out.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
banger.
Flooded
dude.
Flooded Out is like on
Flooded
my
Out.
like not even top 20.
That's
but
I
that's
like it.
cool.
That's a miss.
I like it.
We all make mistakes. That not being on your list is a mistake. Flooded Out's
Yeah,
crazy.
Flooded Out's gotta be
Flooded
there.
Out's top, for sure, top
gotta
10
be up
track
there.
here. Probably top 5.
Oh wow.
It's a bang. It's an absolute bang.
Put it up there.
Okay.
Henny,
Over Undeserving?
personally, yeah.
Okay, for you personally. Okay.
Personally,
Okay. I understand that. I understand that.
What
I
was
would
the
put
Pilot Henny Lago one?
Babysitter Henny Lago.
A Babysitter.
Babysitter by Henny Lago's dope.
I like the I stay down again and again.
Oh, that's him in Pilot.
Yeah, him Pilot. That
Yeah,
one's
that's a good one. Singles. Oh, I mean, Finding Nemo, pretty dude, is just that's an all time.
that Merc one's turning up right now too. You got that
Pull Up?
Schools, yeah.
Yeah, but Mark has that other song I like. I think it was on his like third project. I can't think. But yeah, I'd put Flooded Out on that.
Something just impacts my memory when we're on this show, dude. I don't know what it could be.
Right. Yeah. Man.
So then with all that being answered, what is your overall assessment of the pulse of the music scene in Phoenix?
You want to go first, Jared?
Yeah, I feel like that I can answer. I feel like it's struggling to find its identity.
And why? But
I think you pointed out some interesting things that I hadn't like thought of before. I think the pay to play thing, I think it's more of a double-edged sword because before I was like, I think that's important to have something where someone can just go out there and do that. But
right.
I think the main thing is, and not that it's on artists ultimately, and they'll find a way to be successful. But I do think with platforms, there's a it's a tough line to skirt because you don't want to offend people and you truly might like someone's music. But at the end of the day, there needs to be something, whether it's a venue, a concert series, a show, a radio station, whatever that is out here that becomes some taste defining thing.
For sure.
Then
Facts.
they build the platform and then it becomes like an Apollo theater kind of a vibe where it's like, okay, so-and-so just killed at this venue, put
Right.
on this show by these people. And it's like, those are your credentials. And I don't think we have one central thing. And I don't know which it'll be a chicken or the egg thing. Like will there be
right.
an artist that goes on a platform and does something that's so defining
Right.
that it makes that platform and then people start cycling through that and it's because of that artist, but that happens to be the platform that benefits? Or will some platform have something that goes off? I mean, again, the platform always needs the artist, but
Right.
I think there has to be something out there that's a definitive tastemaker that the people then decide they relate with, and then it becomes a rite of passage to go there, and then there can be some like, but again, at the same time, that's just making it here locally. You can post a song and it can go big in every state but this one, and you'll be making plenty of money. So I don't think
Right.
there's any one path there, but
So I would say struggle might be a tough word, but I could see where Jared's coming from that. I would say similar to I feel like what Jared and I are doing here is, and I think Merkham's is a good example of this. It's like you are going to have platforms just in general, right? Some may seem biased or some may be pay to play. I think
Right.
regardless of that, that should not matter. And if you have enough motion, which I believe you have, and you continue to build a team around you and connect with people that want to help promote you, you ride that out. And eventually, if you're doing it from a place of genuineness, if you have talent, that eventually you're gonna get a call
Right.
from the labels or whatever it is, and I just feel like, um, I feel like Merc is to me a great example of like he's got a good team with Breezeway, and Breeze has put him in front of people and in places that, maybe it was just a shot in the dark and ended up working out, but
Right.
he's had people in the scene go against him or whatever, and I feel like he's done a
Oh
good
yeah,
job of
I don't like when that
ignoring
happened.
that. And see, and that's
I
what I
didn't like
mean.
when that happened.
Yeah, and that is what it is, and I just feel like that may be why
That was
Phoenix.
ugly.
It
Yeah, that
was.
was ugly.
And
Yeah.
that may be why Phoenix, some artists may not break here, but I just feel like if you just, again, if you have the talent, you have the craft, you have a team, just keep going. As corny as that
Absolutely.
may
No.
sound.
You 1000% right. And Merc not even being a Phoenix native. When I seen was the Matty Ice shit because he didn't want a freestyle battle, that was ugly. I don't like seeing that because one, just because an artist is hot, regardless if you like his music or if you think he's your cup of tea, uh, someone like Merc is consistent. You got to
Yes.
respect the consistency. You got to respect the resiliency. Um, whether you're a more traditional New York style rap lover or whatever, you got to tip your hat to it. So just because that person's that style of artist doesn't mean you're entitled to see him freestyle that.
Not at all.
Cause not just because he does the freestyle, like
On top of that, he's a grown man. If he wants
right,
to do
It's like
something or
seeing a
he
comedian
doesn't.
and be like, "Tell me a joke." It's
and
like, "Fuck you."
and
Yeah.
it's back to the menu thing we're talking about. Merc and anyone who's successful is very high on the totem pole in their mind. Whether that's the actual reality, you have to be that way. Like
Have
you
to.
have to think you're the best. You have to. So in Merc's mind, and I understand where he's coming from. I've done X, Y, and Z, and you want me to come to your platform that's going to benefit you more than it's going to benefit me to potentially win X amount of money for free, for one, and just because I freestyle on these other major platforms, why why would I freestyle against Lil Do Dirt?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like respect. Like this
Being
is
on Funk Flex is a little different.
Funk Flex, Sway in the morning,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
it's a little different, dude.
So
Yeah.
I
On
understand
the
that.
radar freestyle, I think he's done.
And I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. So right, stuff like that. So he's even though he's I guess at this point you got to say he's like the face of Phoenix. People think of Phoenix hip hop, even though he's not from here, and I kind of have a gripe, not with him
Get that.
personally, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
how
The
platforms
concept,
do that
yeah.
because he's not from here.
Yeah.
But I think he's great in his right. I would not work with him. He's a decent dude, but he's done X, Y, and Z. He's kind of transcended and kind of surpassed, and I think that's what they don't like hearing. And then you got these artists. I mean, when you guys were asking like, "Yo, he's got a slot for the thing," I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll come perform." Like, no, he wants your freestyle. I'm like,
And that's the thing. Does that mean that you're not a great hip hop artist if you don't want to go freestyle in
No.
that particular
and
environment
the
for that
thing
reason? Like,
is,
no.
Not at all.
the individuals that you have people doing sets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm from here. When I perform, I bring people out. If you don't know that by now, it's like what you said. You may not get to know it by now.
I
Yeah.
mean, when
So
we saw Meth
that's
and Red,
fair.
was it Kyrie, Doobie, and Merc
Merc,
opening?
so
Like
they
that was
all
cool
put
to
on
see.
for
Like
Arizona
that's
artists.
putting on.
yeah, and they tell them people from here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
that's what I'm saying. That'd be the city, and kudos to them because at the end of the day, they still bring a light
Yes.
to Phoenix.
To the city.
But it's stuff like that where you get these artists, um, and again, has nothing to them. It's more so the other shit that goes on behind the scenes. They'll tell you these folks from Phoenix,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, if that goes south, they'll be like, we tried with these two artists, and we didn't like it or didn't work. But that's not even Phoenix.
Yeah.
So you didn't try. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you really come to Phoenix, if you tapped in with certain artists from Phoenix, they don't even got to be me, just someone who's reputable from Phoenix to show you the real Phoenix. You change, you know what I'm saying? Because like I'm not no artist who's from Phoenix and I can't move the way I want to move or the way I portray myself in my city, so I go to a different city. Now I can be whoever I want to be. I'm not
Mhm.
saying that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what they're not doing either. But
Right.
there's a reason we get so many artists that come to Phoenix because they see it's untapped territory and who they was, where they from,
Yeah.
don't cut it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Yeah.
be Chicago and you rapping like this, but we ain't never seen you do nothing in Chicago. Like you getting no play here. But you can come to Phoenix and be like, I'm from this block in Chicago.
Yeah.
And people out here be like, oh, bro, you know, in that block they got GDs, BDs doing
Mhm.
this. They got the Stones that do, but you ain't never did none of that. But you can come out here and pop it like you did.
Yeah.
And the platforms fall for it. The club owners fall for it. The promoters fall for it. You know what I mean? But
Oh, and I can just speak, going off what you're saying as our platform, and we just at this point, anyone who's coming on our show, we have a genuine interest. If you happen to be from Phoenix, that's great. If you moved here from somewhere else, that's fine
right,
too.
right,
And we just, that's our approach. And again, I think for us, we want to continue to build.
right.
We'd love to build with any artist, but there's certain ones that we want to kind of, cultivate those relationships
Yeah,
more.
and I want to be clear in saying that's not a bad approach.
Yeah.
I just make it clear, like, my goal being from here is to get more of the homegrown, not just the bullshit though. It's got to be, and
Homegrown.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm the end all be all judge because some of the and you can cut me whenever.
You're good.
Some of the people that are from here that have their platforms, I think they do a little too much, like what they did with Merck. I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's hating. So that's just where I stand on that. But shout out to all them artists. That's just my personal
Yeah.
vendetta with what's going on out here. When I
Okay.
ask you what's the climate, that's the climate. You know, I didn't. Thank God I done been in a position. I've made real relationships with some of these DJs in these clubs. That's like I don't got to be in a club no more. It's gonna spin. You gonna hear it. And if you're not hearing it, you just not where you need to be. Because
Right.
my stuff is in the clubs that's getting play. But more or less Scottsdale still. Downtown Phoenix, I'm straight. But like Scottsdale, I done called, been like, yo, what's the business to get record spin? You know what they gonna say in Scottsdale? You know what they told me? We don't spend local artists.
Wow.
Corporate, they gave me a corporate wants our DJs to do this, that, and the third. I said, well, that's why we don't got a LA culture, a New York
Mhm.
culture, Chicago
Mhm.
culture, and
Mhm.
Atlanta culture. Bro, when I went to Atlanta, and I'm using hyperbole. I never get no man, no God complex. But well, that's a different thing. But Young Thug, he's like when I went to Cleveland Ave down there, bro. Anywhere you go downtown Atlanta, he's like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? 21 like that.
Royalty.
Future like that. Like they
Royalty.
right,
Yeah.
right. You know, you
Yeah,
get
as they should be.
out here, guess what you hearing? You hearing
Hey, are
Thug,
you
you
so and
hearing
so? Yeah.
no, I'm saying you're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
hear everyone
Oh
who's
yeah.
hot
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You go to I ain't never been to Chicago, but
Great city, dude.
it's gonna be like, down there they listening to their artists. Even the ones that's not major. They listening to their artists from their blocks. They listen to their artists from that section of the city. They listening to, whether it be from Inglewood, whether it be from the burbs in Chicago, the east side, out east, whatever. That's what they listening to.
Yeah.
New York, they listen, like when Pop Smoke caught that flame,
Yeah.
man, you ain't listening to nothing else. But you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
LA, when Draco had his thing going, like he redefined that whole shit in LA.
Yeah.
Out here, we got everyone. I feel like the businesses know a lot of people that's in Phoenix, not from Phoenix. So that's why they can cater to all the different regions and
Makes sense.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's a lot of work that gotta be done. It's not gonna happen overnight, but
Well, dude, I feel like that's a good segue. Nick, tell us, as a Phoenix artist, a Phoenix representing artist, man, what do you got coming up? What's next for you? What are you working on?
um right now we in the works. We got the music video for I Am, that record that's about to start.
If you need extras, let us know, dude.
Matter of fact, there's a toy drive on the south side. I'll send y'all.
Okay.
We're gonna
Do
shoot
it.
some of it. Yeah.
All right.
Pop out. We're gonna shoot that.
Might bring the fam, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring like a toy, something to
Gotta give these
donate.
boys some GI Joes, dude. No Barbies in that thing, dude.
No, for if y'all can just bring like a toy or something to donate for the people who struggle around this time of year.
Yeah.
I think that's important. If you're in a position to be a blessing to a family in this time of year, I think it's important to capitalize on that. But yeah, got the I Am shoot. Got some other stuff in the works that I'll tell y'all off screen.
Okay.
But for the most part, I just went all in with my businesses. So like I live off my businesses now. So a lot of that I'm trying to not trying, I'm making that work.
Revitalizing.
Yeah, in terms like I do my training with my athletes. That's
Yeah.
going really well. It's busy season right now. When it's cooler, everybody wants their kid trained
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
It's
So,
nice enough to be outside.
yeah,
So.
absolutely. And then I run a group home. So,
Wow.
and yeah, so just trying to get all that situated because, in this game, money talk. You don't got money, you
Prices aren't going down, dude.
hoping to wish. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, and then I just want to get in a position to help people.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I want to be in a position I can give back, whatever that is. Like athletic training, if you want to get into that, I got you. If you someone who's genuine and care about people and you don't mistreat people, I can help you with the group home and help you learn how to get certified with people with disabilities.
Wow.
If you in the music scene, I can show you what to do. I can show you what not to do. You know what I mean? I just want to get in a position where I can give back.
Facts.
It's huge.
So
Man. Well, Nique, we appreciate you coming through again, blessing
most
us.
def.
We, apologies if it took a little longer than we may have liked it, but listen,
Ain't no
Got you in the
problem.
right stew. We
Yeah.
got you in
yeah,
the
we're
right one.
locked in from here on out, bro. Anytime you want us to pull up to something you're doing, you got to show you got something. If we could be involved, then we could be there, man. That's what we're
Yeah,
about.
and I appreciate the apology, but you don't ever gotta apologize. If you don't, if y'all don't take care of what y'all feel like y'all gotta take care of here, nobody's going to. So
Yeah.
I never
Yeah,
take
yeah.
that personally. You know what I
Appreciate
mean?
that,
Because I've
dude.
been on the other side of that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
understand it. So yeah, man. Happy holidays, y'all boys.
Appreciate you.
Most
Appreciate
def,
you, dude.
most def.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you. Man.